All right, hi again, everybody. Good to be with you once again. Sorry we can't be there in person, but there's always next year, 2021. We'll make plans to be there. So we've wrapped up the high school football season as it pertains to schools in the Sumter area, and obviously it was not a good finish for the local schools, but congratulations to all of them for playing as long as they did and going as far as they did. So in your SCISA championship games, Charleston Southern, and understand Charleston Southern did a fantastic job of hosting these games. They've got a nice facility, probably just about the right size for these games, especially under the circumstances where you have limited capacity. Lawrence Manning, of course, faced Hammond, and what can you do against Hammond? Hammond is just so good year in and year out. They're deep, they're talented, they're well coached. They've got numerous major college prospects. What can you do? Lawrence Manning did all it could do and defensively did a nice job against that Hammond offense, but other mistakes and turnovers and other scores by Hammond, too much for Lawrence Manning. So a great season nonetheless to make it to the state championship game. Carolina Academy put up a good hard fight in the first half against Hilton Head Christian, but Bobcats could not hang on there in the second half, and Hilton Head Christian just too good, wins that one. And, of course, Lee Academy from Bishopville. You talk about running into a buzzsaw. Thomas Hayward, they've won numerous championships, and they're another program in SCISA that's on a bit of a run right now. And Thomas Hayward too much in winning the single A championship. Congratulations to those schools, though, for getting to the final game. As for Sumter High, what can you say? All season long, that defense has been very, very good, but they ran into the best team in the state, hands down, a team that just they haven't lost in forever, it seems, in Dutch Fork. And you talk about a team loaded with offensive weapons. Will Taylor, in particular, at quarterback, who's headed to Clemson, will be a wide receiver. He's also a baseball player, tremendous talent, but he's a guy that they picked up from Ben Lippen. And he stepped into the void there at quarterback, and they didn't miss a beat with him at quarterback. And their skill position weapons are just outstanding. They've got two major college prospects at wide receiver, and they're young. They'll be back next year. So it's tough to beat Dutch Fork. They're so well coached. Tom Knotts does a fantastic job, and you got to play your best game and beyond. And, to hold them to 24 points was a great job by the Sumter defense, but of course you didn't score any points. And I don't think Dutch Fork gets the credit for how good they are on defense because their offense gets all the headlines. But still another great season for the Gamecocks. That's their only loss of the year. I know it hurts to get to the state semis and fall short, but Coach Barnes he's really built a terrific program, and there's no doubt they'll be back again next year. Speaking of tremendous high school players in the Sumter area, let's take a break here and take a look at some of the top players, the players of the week from this season, as recognized by you guys, the Sumter Touchdown Club. Here are the 2020 players of the week.
Our offensive player of the week that week from C.E. Murray High School. He had 11 rushes for 168 yards and a touchdown, 2 two-point conversions, 2 receptions for 83 yards, and a touchdown in a big win over Scotts Branch, and that is Mr. Notorious Grant. Congratulations, Notorious. Now, I got to ask you about that name. Do you live up to your name?
Yes, sir.
All right. I was thinking, maybe if that last name was Legend or something like that, Notorious, that would be something. But it is you've gotten off to a really, really nice start this year. Tell me about what are you seeing the field? You seeing the holes, or is it all due to your offensive lineman?
Lineman, and I see in the field. I see the field better, but it meant because of the lineman.
Well, congratulations on a nice victory and for that award, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you more here really soon. So congratulations.
sir. I know you, come on. Now, I'll tell you that Mr. Lee and I just had a conversation because this was just announced today. Did you know that you got Defensive Player of the Week this week? That's because nobody else knows either. That's the secret. But we're going to put it on the video so it won't matter. Now, in the game last week against Lakewood, right? Was that a victory for y'all?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Y'all positioned to make the playoffs, aren't you? Right. You went on out, right? Now, just y'all were there, but I'm gonna go ahead and say what he did against Lakewood. He had 5 tackles, tackle for loss, 3 INTs. Did they know you were out there? A pick 6 and a rushing touchdown. Now, how does that game rank among the best ones you've ever played? Well, I was going to say that you affected change on the defensive side of football. And that's not said to be something. I'll tell you what, when you can do that, and you got all your guys around, you can change the whole complexion of a football game. And how'd you feel when you were finished? Great. Yeah. All right, now the week before, now y'all said y'all bounced back this week against Lakewood, but the week before, y'all took it on the chin against Camden, and right now they're on a roll. But you came down toward the end, and you're receiving the kickoff. And you returned a punt this year, and you returned that sucker 85 yards. What was going through your head when you lined up to field that kickoff? You didn't have like an extra adrenaline flow because you were firing up about it? Yeah. Or is that how you always are? All right, I got one more question for you now. Would you rather, you had a punt return for a touchdown early in the season. Which would you rather be doing? Returning kickoffs or returning punts? Kickoff. Why? I can see it before the punt is risky. Well, I was going to say, I know what my thoughts would be is, I'm going to catch the ball without anybody around me. So that makes sense. All right, well, y'all keep it going, all right? Congratulations. Here's your clap. And this young man graded out 91% with a knockdown block and helped you guys overtake East Clarendon 52-6. Mr. Quisha Gamble. Now, we heard from some of your counterparts. You guys got a pretty good offensive line, don't you?
Yes, sir.
And you like to clear it away.
Yes, sir.
Now, what's up with only the one knockdown though? You couldn't get more than that. I know knockdowns are a thing, right?
You're right. You could have got more. I just should have dropped my feet some more. Been more aggressive with the ball than supposed to. Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll be looking for that next time if you happen to win this one again?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, that's an outstanding effort, and very proud of you guys, man. Y'all got a good thing going on here. Keep it going.
Yes, sir.
All right, Quisha Gamble. Let's hear it.
Barry as the Special Teams Player of the Week. This is for the week of October 30th versus Kings Academy. And first of all, Jordan, congratulations. That's a great effort. Thank you. Do you punt, kickoff?
No, I do kickoffs and field goals and extra points.
Okay, so obviously you like the field goals and the extra points better than the kicking off, I would imagine.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's a heck of a night. That's a big win for you guys. 49-17, I think, something like that against Kings Academy. Now, I held for a kicker in college, kicking in the pros for about 12 years, and there's a lot of pressure when it comes to being a kicker. You watch the Maryland-Minnesota game last week. What happened?
Missed.
The kicker missed the extra point in overtime, and they lost. Do you ever feel that pressure when you're out there?
Not normally, because I got confidence, because I've been practicing a lot, so I know exactly what to do and stuff. But sometimes I'll be angry with myself or something, then I'll get away with it sometimes. It's a head game for the most part.
Well, 7 for 7 is awful good, and fortunately you didn't need it for that game, but that just gets you going right for if you ever do need the game to win one or tie one up. So congratulations on a great effort. Hope to see you back again in the future.
Hopefully so.
Let's have a hand for Jordan Berry.
So let's turn our attention to the college scene. And of course, you know what last week would have been? Last week would have been Clemson, Carolina, Carolina, Clemson week, the Palmetto Bowl. That wasn't this year. Thank you, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey. Hated it, really hated it, missed it. Maybe you missed it, maybe you didn't. I'm sure Clemson fans missed it. Maybe Gamecock fans are happy they didn't play. Let's face it, had they played, it would have been a slaughter. I mean, it would have been an absolute slaughter. It would have been as much as Clemson wanted it to be. Unfortunately for Gamecocks, that's just the difference in the two games, in the two teams right now. When I make my prediction at the club every year, I like to say it's going to come down to the fourth quarter, to the last possession, and maybe a field goal. No, this one would have been over, kind of like the Pitt game was at Clemson. 31-0 in the first quarter for them. And like the Carolina game against Georgia in Columbia, the Gamecocks trailed 21-0 before they knew what hit them. So probably a good thing for South Carolina. This game wasn't played, but then again, we do miss it here in the state. And the question now is, it was supposed to be played at Clemson this year. They didn't play it. It's supposed to be in Columbia next year. So where will they play the 2021 game? Do they stay on the schedule with the odd years being in Columbia, or do they give Clemson its game back? That'll be an interesting discussion and decision to be made between the two programs. But it would have been an ugly game, no question about it, and Clemson would have won easily over the Gamecocks. They probably would have been favored by about 30 points and probably would have covered. So we're going to wrap up the Gamecock season in all likelihood. This Saturday, the Gamecocks play at Kentucky. Now, I say in all likelihood because, the conferences are supposed to use all of their allotted spots for their teams. And if two SEC teams go to the playoffs, that'll leave 12 others to fill in their remaining bowl spots. And they might have to go to a South Carolina or even a Vanderbilt for that matter. And, of course, the NCAA is saying this year, we don't care what your record is, you can go to a bowl game. So, maybe the Gamecocks will go with 2 wins if they lose to Kentucky. Maybe they'll beat Kentucky and get that third win. But in all likelihood, this will be the end of the road for the Gamecocks, and it can't come soon enough for them. Clemson on the road to play Virginia Tech. Again, the Tigers are 22-point favorites. And they don't need any slip up here in Blacksburg at Lane Stadium, which has been typically a tough place to play because they need to win that game. If they win that game, then we'll have to wait and see what happens if they're forced to reschedule a game with Florida State. But if not, and they go ahead and win that game, then they'll play Notre Dame in the ACC championship game. And, of course, that'll be a whale of a game there in Charlotte with the winner. Well, it could work out this way. If Clemson takes care of Virginia Tech and then goes and plays Notre Dame and they beat Notre Dame in a close one, and it's not an embarrassing loss, which I don't think it would be. If it's a close one, it's entirely possible you'll have Clemson and Notre Dame go from the ACC to the playoffs. And then you look at the SEC, and if it works out where it's Alabama and say Florida, and Florida wins in a close one over Alabama, well, you know they want to take Alabama. They'll take Florida. You could have two ACC and two SEC teams in there. So, and you know, Ohio State's on the verge of being ineligible for the playoffs because of a lack of games because of their postponements. It might just come down to that. We'll have to wait and see. But Clemson should take care of Virginia Tech. They look great against Pitt, and then move on to that ACC championship games. And you know, again, ACC championship game between Clemson and Notre Dame, that would be an eye-popping matchup for sure. So the season is finally coming to a close, and I think perhaps maybe just a little bit, maybe with the exception of Clemson fans and Notre Dame fans and Alabama fans and maybe a few others out there, I think people are kind of happy it's coming to a close. I mean, we're glad we had this season. We know it was a risk. We know there was a lot of work put into it. There were a lot of twists and turns. The scheduling drove people crazy, dealing with the COVID and the testing and not having players here and not having players there. And the fact that they started all this back in like July. I mean, the players and the coaches have just got to be mentally and physically worn out. But those who are headed to the playoffs, they want to win a championship. To them, it will count as a championship. And they're not going to make any excuses for it, and they're not going to put an asterisk by it. They're going to count it as a national championship. For them, they couldn't be more excited. For everybody else, you know, probably happy that this season is coming to a close. So with that, we'll bring this to a close. We wish you well until next time we're able to get together. And why don't we take another look at the Sumter Touchdown Club Players of the Week for 2020. A great way to end this video and send you off till the next time we're together. Thanks for having me back. We'll see you soon.
Cletus Austin. Come on now, get up. Thank you, sir. All right. Now, this is in y'all's game against Marlboro County last week, which was a big game for y'all, right? Yes, sir. All right. Y'all know what he did that night? 22 carries for 156 yards, 3 catches for 54 yards and a touchdown. And that clinched the playoffs for y'all. Now, did y'all know he had that kind of yardage that night? Did you know you had that much yardage? Were you counting it? All right, now, Coach said in the item, in the interview, that you were a 3-sport athlete. What 3 do you play?
Basketball, run track, football.
What's your favorite?
Football.
You got to say football right now, right? All right, now, when you got there and you had 154 yards, is that the most you ever had in the game?
Yes, sir.
And what was going on that day that made it so easy for y'all just to run up and down? Because y'all had to come from behind to win that game.
Kareem. Kareem. That made it easy.
Y'all let him through. Kareem. Now, what did he do? He blocked? Well, he ain't very big. So you got behind and ran behind him all night long?
O-line, bring it on today. That's starting O-line.
Y'all come on up here. All right, who's everybody?
Jalen Cockfield, Kareem, Little Andre, James, and Jordan.
Little Andre?
I call Little Andre, but that'd be low right there.
All right. Well, this is your plaque, and you can't really split it with them, but you already did it for the camera. We're going to have this. We'll have it online and so forth. Well, congratulations. Go Panthers!
Yes, sir.
Preston Hauser, come on down.
Sir.
Now, did you read the interview and with the subject item from Coach about you when you got Player of the Week?
Yes, sir.
I played offensive lineman across the street, and I was a little smaller. A lot smaller than I am now, so I played. But I don't know that I ever heard of a coach saying an offensive lineman has a high motor. What did you think about that when he said that?
The truth.
I just try my best and do everything.
You do that like in life too? Is that you always go in there kind of, you were laying, you kind of sprawled out there on the floor just now.
Yes, sir. I try to give my best in most things.
And you gonna play basketball too?
Yes, sir.
8 of 9 last year. That is pretty impressive. Well, in y'all's game against Lee Academy, you graded 88% with 3 knockdown blocks. Only 88% you couldn't get any higher than 88? What'd you do wrong with that other 12%?
I don't know.
You'll know before Christmas.
Well, but here's your plaque. Congratulations, we're proud of you. Let's go, guys. Conley was named the Defensive Player of the Week in the victory over, which game was that one? That was Conway Christian? Yep. So, now this is your second time this year. You had it 3 times last year. Does it get kind of old just doing it over and over again? Kinda? Well, you didn't want to do an interview, so that kind of touched you a little bit. What do you like better? You like basketball or football, so now that you moved on to basketball? You don't know? All right, y'all. Well, y'all give him a hand for this. Naming the Player of the Week with special teams in y'all's game with Conway Christian. What does it feel like to have returned a punt 90 yards? You're being a freshman and all.
Well, just go out there to work, have fun, get the job done, have fun with our players, try to make it as fun as we can, and do what we could.
Kylie, you said in the interview with Adam, Kylie said, "Come on and follow me." Y'all really had that conversation when you were sitting there doing that?
Yes, sir.
He really told you to do that?
When I picked up the ball, I cut across the middle, and all I could hear was Kylie yelling at me, "Come behind me, come behind me, I have a pack." And he led me to the end zone.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.